Hi, this is Jennifer with Tiny Life After 50. In today's video, I'm going to discuss the 3 spaces I have lived tiny in throughout my life. I'll walk you through my tiny journey. I'll explain some of the things I liked about it and some of the things I didn't like. The first time I lived tiny, I was in a semi-truck for 6 years. I traveled 48 states with my daughter, and we homeschooled her in the truck. We would go out for 7 weeks and come home for a week. We had a book carrier and a pencil sharpener on the dash. We were the only truck in the fleet that had that. For our entertainment, she had a DVD player and about 200 movies. I preferred to watch PBS, so I had a TV antenna and I would just scan the channels every night and get what I could get, but usually we could get PBS everywhere throughout the country. It was a pretty strong signal. We also had a CB radio. I was running around and she was Little Feet. We would talk to truck drivers along the way and make friends as we went. Everybody wants to know about the bathroom situation. Every time we filled up our truck, we got a free shower from the truck stop, so we would go and take a free shower every day or every other day. And if we couldn't get into a truck stop to go to the bathroom, we had a bucket-style composting toilet with a bag in it. Our sleeping situation was 2 bunk beds. We had a twin size on the bottom for me and a twin size on top for her. She would just monkey right up the side there and climb into bed every night. I had a rail up for her so she couldn't fall out of the bed, and I built in a closet for her at the foot of the bed. Our cooking situation, well, at first we had a microwave, but it didn't work very well with the electrical system in our truck. It kept failing, and so we just got rid of it. It wasn't worth fooling with anymore. I had a plug-in saucepan, and I had a cutting board. I would just cut up the vegetables and the meat on our dashboard and cook for us. And the saucepan was big enough for the 2 of us to get a good meal out of it. Somebody asked me about washing dishes. I just had gallon jugs of water that I could fill up at the truck stops, and I would take a soapy rag and take it just outside the truck and wash our dishes. That way we kept everything clean and neat. We used paper products as much as we could, paper plates and plastic forks and all. That kept the amount of dishes down. If you're enjoying this video, please like and subscribe. Leave me a comment. I do want to know what you have to say and I will respond to you. After the truck, we lived large for about 10 years. We moved out to Colorado and we lived in a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath house, and we could accumulate as much stuff as we wanted to. In fact, we even had 2 sheds out back so we could accumulate more and overflow. We had as much stuff as we could buy and take care of, but it was just too much. Cleaning that house, by the time you got it clean, it was almost time to start over again. So I downsized twice. The first time I downsized from the 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath house to a 2-bedroom, 1-bath trailer. My folks had moved out of the house and there was a lot of furniture and stuff left, so I put all of the furniture on Facebook Marketplace and got rid of it pretty easily, I thought. And anything that was left that was small stuff, I either donated or I threw in a dumpster. We had a roll-off dumpster at the house to get rid of everything. And so I moved into a 2-bedroom, 1-bath house. I lived in the trailer for about 6 months and I continued to downsize. I got rid of approximately 90% of everything I owned. I had a couple of 2-day yard sales. I sold a lot of stuff. I had a spot out at the end of my driveway where I put a bunch of my furniture and other odds and ends that didn't sell in the yard sale, and I put up a free sign on it. And you know, it's amazing what people will drive by and take. I really appreciated that because I didn't want to haul a load to the dump. Every week I filled my trash can completely to the brim with whatever I could stuff into it for months. I completely emptied one room at a time in my little trailer until I had it down to what would fit in my pickup truck. In fact, for the last couple of weeks, all I had was a TV and a mattress to sleep on the floor and a few boxes of stuff. And the whole time I was in the trailer, I was talking to Mama about the tiny home she was building. And we decided that I should move to Alabama and live with her in the tiny house. I was asked by somebody, was there anything when I downsized that I should have kept or would have kept if I had thought about it at the time? And there was one thing. There was a little Christmas tree that I just loved, that I had had for years and years, and I wish I had kept it. I haven't been able to replace it with something equivalent to that. I guess they don't make them like that anymore. So what I did was I built a frame on the bed of my truck out of wood. It took me a couple of afternoons to figure it all out, but I got it built, and I loaded up all my possessions in the back of the truck, and with the frame I had boards with hooks on it to strap down all my stuff and tarp it really good. And I set off for Alabama. I drove for 2.5 days. I went through Colorado, Kansas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and I got to Memphis, and I got just south of Memphis when my truck broke down. I was in Olive Branch, Mississippi, and I was stuck for 3 days. My truck wouldn't go anymore. The rear end went out on the truck, and it was going to cost $4,000 to fix it, and the truck was only worth about $2,500. So I sold the truck for $500, and I rented a U-Haul. I took everything that had been in the truck and stuck it in the back of that U-Haul, which wasn't even nearly full because I had so little. And I finished the last 300 miles to Alabama, to where my mother was at with the tiny house. That first tiny house we had was only 280 square feet. The exterior dimensions, including the eaves and overhangs, was only 12 by 28. By the time it was all filled out, it was only 10.5 feet wide by 26.5 foot long on the interior, for a total of 280 square feet. Mama had moved during COVID from Colorado, and she bought the tiny shell. It took her 7 months to get it, though, because everyone wanted to build a shed or have a new shed or make a tiny home. If you remember COVID, there was no campers to be had. There was no sheds to be had. Everyone was doing projects. But she finally did get the shell, and it took her 3 months to build it out into a house. She lived in that tiny house by herself for a while, but in June of 2022, I arrived from Colorado. We had 2 adults and a cat in the tiny house for 2 years. Thankfully, we get along well, and there's no fighting or anything. The first tiny house had an 8 by 10 covered porch. It was pretty spacious. I could go sit out there and enjoy nature, watch the cars pass going down the road. The kitchen was just one countertop. It had 2 mini fridges underneath the countertop. It did have a apartment size, I guess you would say, stove. It was still 4 burners and an oven, but it was not a full 30 inches wide. It was only 24 inches wide. We had a deep sink, at least, and a faucet with a sprayer on it. We had on-demand hot water underneath the countertop. It was all electric, though, and it took a ton of energy whenever it would kick on. We learned from that we didn't want the electric on demand anymore. In our current tiny house, we have gas on demand. So at least we learned our lesson. The bathroom in that tiny house was one small sink, a toilet, and a 32 by 32 inch shower pan. You could take a shower in it, but it was kind of close and everything just squeezed in on you. So from that, we realized in the next tiny house, we wanted a full-size tub shower. So in this tiny house, we've got a 60-inch tub. In the window of the tiny house, we had an AC and heat pump. And when the weather got down to 13 degrees below zero for a couple of days, we realized that wasn't going to work. We were having to wear our coats in the house. It was so cold. And our on-demand hot water also froze up. So we didn't have any water for 2 or 3 days during that, and it just so happened that it was at Christmas time. That was rather inconvenient. But while we were living in that tiny house, we purchased another shell and started building on it. In the first tiny house, I didn't have a bedroom. I had a bed set up in the living room, and that was my space at night. And I realized I needed a real bedroom. So in the new tiny house, I do have a bedroom. We took that shell that we purchased. It was a 16 by 40, so it was twice as big as the first tiny house. The exterior dimensions were 16 by 40, and the interior dimensions were 14.5 by 38.5. So it's approximately 560 square feet. It's like 558 square feet. So we have one porch on the front that's a covered porch. It's nice and spacious. We enjoy it. We put our plants out there. We put our hanging rack since we don't have a dryer out there. It's got one central room, which is the living room and kitchen combined. We have one countertop with upper and lower cabinets, and we have a deep sink and a faucet with a sprayer nozzle on it. We don't quite have a full-size refrigerator. It's just one step down from a full size. It's a little shorter than I am. I stand at 5'4", but we realized we should have gotten a full-size refrigerator. I think we have the room for it, and that's probably going to be something that we're going to change in the future. We do have a full-size 4-burner gas stove with an oven. We use that a lot. Our on-demand water, since it's gas, has to be on the outside of the house. It's a lot easier on the electricity, but we have found during the winter it freezes up just like the old one did. So that's a problem that we don't have a solution for yet. We learned from our first tiny house that we needed a full-size bathroom. We've got a full-size bathroom. We have a full tub at 60 inches. We have a regular sized toilet and sink. Just outside the bathroom is our laundry area. We have a washer, but we don't have a dryer. We hang our clothes out on the porch to dry. We have bedrooms on opposite ends of the house. The smaller bedroom is 6 feet wide, but it is the full width of the house, so it's 14.5 feet long. It has 3 areas in it: a bed area, a desk area, and a closet area. The larger bedroom has a walk-in closet and room for a twin bed and dresser, as well as a bookcase and a side table. It's our 560 square foot mansion. In this video, I've discussed the 3 times I've lived tiny: the living in the truck, living in the first tiny house, and now living in this second tiny house, and the things I liked and the things I would change. In the first tiny house, living in the truck, I learned that I would need a full-size bathroom. Having truck stop showers and a composting toilet in the truck was not good. In the second tiny house, we learned that we needed more than just a 32 by 32 shower pan, and we needed a better on-demand water system. In the third tiny house, I got my bedroom, but I would change and have a dryer and a dishwasher if we had it to do over again. I hope you have enjoyed this video today, me talking you through my tiny journey. This has been Jennifer with Tiny Life After 50. Please like and subscribe, leave me a comment, and I'll catch you later in the next video.